Well, guys, it's Saturday, and that means a pocket change market report. What do you guys think? Huh? Yeah. All right, let's do it. So this is for December 10th, 2022. We are a third of the way through the month. Really crazy how time is just flying right now. Just in about everything. The coin market, no exception. It has been flying, and so have the coin sales. We have 25 lots to talk about today, all within about the last 18 to 24 hours. Right? It was pretty. It's still pretty busy. A lot of folks are taking advantage of some of the newer stuff that we don't typically see any other time of the year coming out into the marketplace, as people are really looking to cash out at this point. Especially in a lot of 2022 errors. We've seen just a massive exodus of those particular finds of the year as we approach 2023. This is kind of like the ongoing theme each and every single year. People are going to be focusing on that current year's hunting, and much like what we saw in 2021, there were a lot of really awesome errors that the U.S. Mint had cranked out that today the prices have dropped 50 to maybe 75% in some cases. It's amazing what happens when you just don't do anything for a year. Your coins end up being a little bit cheaper. Well, what do you know? No big surprise. I think a lot of that has to do with the error specialists coming in and scooping up some of these early on, and that's when the prices are at their highest. It's that race to the bottom, I guess. He who ends up with the most inventory at the end will end up losing. But it's a really robust time right now, and it's going to be so for about the next week and a half. Generally, after the 20th of the month, things will slow down as people kind of like buckle in for Christmas and the New Year. And then we'll see things kind of resume their usual pace sometime in the middle of January. And as more shows like the Florida Fun Show is going to be coming up at the beginning of the year, that's going to be one that a lot of people are going to be saving up money for. So there's just a lot of market activity right now. Take advantage of it while you can. It's not too late to sell stuff. If you need the extra money, or you just want to dump whatever you have because the market is now, then do so. No graded coins. That's the usual for these reports. Costs a lot of money to grade errors and varieties. If it's not going to make any sort of difference on the actual value of a coin, just forget about it. Don't do it. All of the images that you see here are true to these sellers' listings. Nothing was juiced in any matter. You're going to see the best and worst that that folks out there have to offer, and you're going to see that the bar can be set pretty low, and you would do just fine with those images to sell your coins. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the first one. Talking about Road Rash. This thing has had a pretty rough life. 1953 D Lincoln Wheat Cent is what we're seeing at here. There needs to be something pretty gosh darn amazing for this coin to even be on the list. And there is actually. It's a cherry picker's guide. It's a repunched mint mark. It's a D over D, so the secondary D is punched westward of the primary mint mark. This is also commonly referred to as the RPM number 1. And also FS501 in the Cherry Picker's Guide. And by the way, the Cherry Picker's Guide, I believe, is in production right now. So it's at print. It's just going to be a matter of time before we see Volume 2, Edition 6 coming out here really soon. Hopefully by Christmas, you guys would be able to buy this. I think the author even has a place marker on Amazon for the book. If you wanted to pre-order it, you can. So that way it kind of guarantees your position in that. But this particular coin right here, even with all of its warts, still ended up selling for $6.07. And that's with 9 bids, by the way. So there was probably 2 or 3 folks that were bidding this thing up to what you see here. These things can be had for about maybe 15, $20 in much nicer shape. So $6 represents a really, really big bargain for this. Well, I wouldn't say big bargain, but an inexpensive version of this coin if you needed it. Another one right here, again, not the best looking condition coin. This was also from the same seller as the previous coin. 1921 Lincoln shield cent with a relatively long detached lamination strip. As you can see, right on the obverse, even going through the date and then kind of like coming to a point in the word liberty. Pretty nice. I mean, again, with like off-center strikes, broad strikes, laminations, curved clips, things like that. There are folks that are collecting those by date, so they're looking for an example of those particular errors for each date. It's just really a nice entry-level way of collecting. And that's specifically why coins like this still sell. Even in this condition, is maybe someone's having a hard time looking for a 1921 with a lamination. Well, here you go. So this one right here sold for $7.75 with 6 bids. So not too bad of a sale. Me personally, I would take that all day long. All right, now we're on to a little bit newer stuff. Here's a 2009, what they call Formative Years Lincoln cent. It highlights Mr. Abraham Lincoln sitting on a log on the reverse reading a book. Now, there's a bunch of doubled dies to be on the lookout for this date. This is actually WDDR number 13. Not the most spectacular doubled thumb variety, but it's there. But this one mostly is here because of this spiky kind of die crack that goes from the rim into the E in States and then into the field there in front of Lincoln's face. So this one right here, pretty nice sale, $14.95. It's my understanding that a lot of people did find these when they were hunting through these coins, especially trying to look for the doubled fingers and thumbs and things like that, which today is still a popular kind of collecting for this date. Now, much like the 1921, we have another similar type of error here on this 1930, although this coin is worlds better in condition than that previous example. This is, again, another detached lamination strip. On the obverse, goes probably about 75% of the way. We've seen examples that go all the way through, and they are just marvelous to look at. They're pretty dramatic. I think that, the grade with this one, also very nice, also very impactful for someone that is looking for something that's a little bit better than just average circulated. So this one sold for $22. Again, a very respectable amount of money, not as rare as the 1921 we saw earlier, but, this one is, it's up there. We're talking early 30s, and they begin to get scarce for these type of issues. Pretty nice one here. Again, some would say, grade that thing. No, you don't have to. Not these. 1943 Lincoln Steely. This one's off center. I would say about 15%. Very attractive looking coin. It does have some wear and some gunk on there, but outside of that, nothing major. These things are prone to rusting, and I've seen a lot of off-center struck Lincoln Steels that are pretty rusty. And this one, actually, I would be okay with. If I needed an example of an S-Mint Steely that's off-center, this would be a good one right here. This one ended up selling for $82.98. So I'm sorry in advance, but I have like a monsoon flow happening outside. So if you hear like wind and rain and stuff, just to let you guys, that's what it is. So we got 1984 P Washington quarter with a really nice strike through on the reverse. Man, a lot of people, I bet, overlook this. Just dismiss it for damage, and it's a really common thing and a pretty easy thing to make a mistake of. So here's that struck through anomaly on the reverse. encompassing E pluribus unum and part of United States of America there. So this was probably at one point a hardened piece of grease, not exactly a fresh coating of grease, but a hardened piece of grease with, various debris items in there, like metal shavings and possibly dirt and whatnot. But yeah, finding this one on this coin, I mean, someone had their eagle eyes checked and did really well on this one. This one sold for $15.60. It's quite minor, but if you do come across it, it's worth a whole lot more than just face value. So pull them out, sell them if you don't want them, and kind of reap the rewards of it. We have just a really nice 1987D Jefferson nickel. This one's off-center by about 55%, maybe 60%. Very attractive coin. I got nothing really negative to say about this one. Very, very lustrous. Even I could tell with these images that this thing looks like it happened yesterday. So this one, a best offer was accepted. I wasn't able to get the actual sale price on this like I usually do. The program I normally use to pull that information was down. So the asking price was $59.99. Some amount of undisclosed amount of cash was accepted for this coin. If I had to guess, probably somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe like 30 to 45 bucks, somewhere around there. But very nice coin. And same one for this. This was also a best offer accepted listing. On the 1934D $5 Federal Reserve note, this is a light green seal, but most importantly has a gutter fold there on the left-hand side. There's also writing on the top right margin for condition accuracy. I mean, it's pretty neat. Gutter folds are simply wrinkles in the sheet that never got pressed or pulled out prior to the print processes. So on this one, you could see that at one point the back was printed. The back of the notes are generally the first print on these, and then they'll print the front. So the wrinkle was stretched out during the back print process, and then it kind of folded into itself again, probably when the sheets were stacked. And there you go. That's how these things happen. Pretty nice one here. This one sold for some amount of money. The original ask price was $119.43. So this looks like maybe a $70 to $80 sale here, based off of what I've seen in previous similar listings. Again, it has writing. It's a very well circulated note. It's not the most premium example, but I will say that this is a very early date example too. So you just don't see them come up on the market that frequently, like some of the more later model stuff. Oh, wow. This is a pretty dramatic error here. 1998 Lincoln Memorial Cent, which is a dual error. It's broad struck, and it also has an indent. The indent happens when two planchets are overlapping during the striking process, thereby leaving some sort of uniface, undesigned portion of the coin. So there is another coin out there, maybe, unless they pulled it out with another indent that'll fit like a glove into that space there. The odds of finding it are slim to none. I will tell you that. But if someone's looking for a really cool conversation piece, this is definitely it right here. This one ended up selling for $58.88. Quite a bit of money, but it's got two very, very good type of errors, very highly liquid in the market today, even though it is a copper-coated zinc. All right, I'm telling you guys, keep an eye out on these woodies. We are probably going to see more interest come into this segment of numismatics, I would say in the next 2 to 5 years. Because of its artistic style, these improper alloy mix wood grain type of Lincoln cents are beginning to get some collector appeal out there because it's actually quite affordable. Folks are out there, picking these things up for $5 to $10, and they've been doing it for such a long while. And then now you're beginning to have newer collectors, younger collectors that see a lot of more beauty, kind of like toned coin collecting, and you see how expensive those coins are getting today. So this is a 1927. The wood grains are typically a lot more available in some of the older Lincoln wheats. And 27 is a pretty good date out of them. And this one right here is sold for $27.50. Again, put into perspective, this is a coin that probably like 5 years ago you could have picked up for under $10. Because there wasn't nearly as much or as big of a collector base for these, and we're beginning to see that change right now. Now this looks like a bargain basement find. So if you were at a coin shop or a coin show, oftentimes this would be a coin that you could pick out of a bulk bin lot of buffalo nickels for under $1 really easily. So if you could find something with like a nice dramatic error, like a cud perhaps, or a big lamination or something, or a variety, a double to die, or a repunch mint mark, or perhaps a 2-feather variety like this one here, then you're going to be in really good shape. And that's kind of the name of the game, it's to cherry pick coins that are unattributed for whatever the dealer is asking for them, and then, turning around, adding it to your collection, or perhaps reselling it. So this is a 1920S Buffalo. It is indeed a 2-feather. It's also the FS401 in the Cherry Picker's Guide. This one, a modest sale, $8.99. The coin is really well worn. Surprised that there is even a date at all, but the back of it's pretty well nicked. It's got a few edge gashes right here that isn't particularly too flattering, but I wanted to let you guys know that this is not, like a top tier kind of coin at all. But converting, maybe 50 cents or $1 of the original paid price for this coin into $8-9, that's a pretty good deal there. Nice one here. Again, a date that you don't commonly see out in the market, except maybe once a month. This is a 1968S Lincoln Memorial Cent off-center by about 10-15%. Very attractive looking coin. Not too many distracting things about it. This one right here, a best offer was accepted. The original asking price is $157.09. That is with shipping, by the way. That's kind of why it's an oddball amount of money. How much do I think it sold for? Now, I've seen coins like this sell for like $30 to $50. And I feel like maybe that's where it's at. 157 is a little bit ambitious, but I'm glad that, something like this did come up, and it's a very market acceptable example. Here's a 1983. Take note, guys. These things are amazing, and they continue to hold a pretty strong position in the marketplace. These are not $100 coins anymore like they used to be. Double the die reverse, FS801 if I'm not mistaken, and this one is just incredibly doubled all over 1 cent, United States of America, and E pluribus unum as well. Cherry Picker's Guide, it's in the Red Book, everybody knows about this variety. $202.09 with 8 bids was the final sale price. Again, very strong amount of money for an ungraded example that I think will probably end up being like a mid-state 63 red. It's pretty attractive. Here's a 1971 just uncentered broad strike Jefferson nickel. So a broad strike occurs, and I haven't said it any time in this video yet, but the collar which holds the coin in place during the striking process was non-existent. Maybe there was a malfunction of some sort. It didn't snap into place when the coin was being struck, and what that does is it allows the metal flow to expand outwards because there's no collar to hold it in to the required size and shape of the thing. But this very good looking example, as you can see, compared to a standard Washington quarter, the size is almost there. You're probably more than likely going to find a coin like this in a quarter roll than you would a nickel roll. So this coin right here sold for $24.88. Again, widely collected by date. Oh, got another one of these, and the seller did, I think, really good on this one. 2022 P Wilma Mankiller quarter with the obverse retain cud. This one does not have the reverse cud, the crack that goes through the star and halfway through the coin. So this is the single-sided type of this one. A little bit of strike through as well. We're missing the last digit of the date and the mint mark, which are all common on these. So the last one that we saw recorded from my last PCMR sold for like 140, 150 bucks. I said that these things are beginning to drop, and they are. They're settling to levels where, just outside interest folks that want these will pick them up. The seller was asking $300 for it plus shipping, and they ended up getting their one bid. Sometimes the power play is to kind of ask your price, not as a buy it now, but do a traditional auction listing that's like 7 days, and set the minimum amount of money that you want for the coin without putting a reserve on it. So if you put, say, $300 and that's the lowest I'll take, you might get a bite or two. And sure enough, the seller did do just that. $305.60. That's with the shipping in there as well. One bid, scooped it up. So yeah, I mean, the market went up, I guess, a little bit more on this one here today. But we'll see how many more of these will sell in this $300 range like they used to. Here's a neat early variety on the 1942 Denver Lincoln Wheat Cent. This is another RPM. This is RPM number 2. It's also FS502 in the Cherry Picker's Guide, showing a Denver mint mark that was punched north of the primary. So as you guys know, prior to 1990, mint employees were actually hand punching the mint marks into the working dies. So that's why you're able to see various different types of RPMs for a number of dates, like 1960 Denver and 56D and 53 and Denver's and all that stuff. Is that, with the entire mintage of one specific coin, they used a lot of dies, and they have to punch the mint marks independently into those working dies. And they will screw up. They'll punch a little off, and then they'll reset and punch again over the mint mark that they had screwed up on. And there you go. That's your final gift to you as hunters of such things. So this one right here ended up selling for $21.51. Great sale. Coin has a few carbon spots, but overall, good looking piece. Whoa, holy white balance issue Batman. Fortunately, the side that mattered didn't get all of the brunt of the light source, which is good. This is a 2021 Tuskegee Airmen with the strike through right on the building. You guys are familiar with this. So this one right here, again, used to be what? A year ago, these things were selling for like $200. Right? Here we are a year later, and the coin is in really good shape too. I would dare say it's mint state, like 64-ish type of grade. $50 is what this one sold for. So, my goodness, how things come crashing down if you end up waiting on these. But if you do find them, they're still a good sale. They haven't gone down to zero. And I don't think they're going to either. This is going to be a coin that I think will age gracefully, but the examples that folks are going to want are going to be the mint state examples. The circulated ones are going to command the most limited amount of money for them. So just to let you guys know, these things right here, I feel probably have bottomed out, but if you have them right now, might as well just hold on to them. Unless you need the $50. Nice tiny little error on this 1983. We have a number of 1983 Lincolns on the list, which is quite nice. And they're not all based on the same type of error or variety, which is also a breath of fresh air. 1983 Lincoln right here has a cud right here at the base of Lincoln's bust. So a cud happens when the die, just through general wear and tear, will begin to kind of crack apart, fall apart. Piece of the die had cracked and fallen out, and so that way any other coin that does strike with that missing piece, all the metal flow will go into it, creating a raised blob. And cuds generally affect the edge of the coin and go into the design, much like this one. So this one right here sold for $19.99. The really tiny cuds won't command a whole lot of money, whereas the bigger stuff are just a runaway freight train right now in the market. Here's another cud, this time on a old beater 1868 Indian headset. You can see that right here. So someone probably cherry-picked this one, probably at a coin shop or maybe online or somewhere, and, probably a few bucks. Even some of the tougher dates aren't worth a whole lot of money when they're in this condition. So this particular one right here sold for $24.99. I could see these being picked up unattributed for maybe $2 or $3 at the most in this condition. Well, here's another one from a year ago that lit the error scene on fire. The 2021 Lincoln Shield with the massive retained cud obverse, along with that massive interior die break as well, right on the break there. What else is there really to say on these? These things had their spotlight shown on them for probably a good solid 6 months. The sales were just ridiculous on these, and now, well, they are a fraction of what they used to be. This one ended up selling for $205.60. These things back in the day were selling for $300, $400, $500, $600. So, yeah, I think probably the price this is a settling point for this one. I wouldn't envision these things going too far south of like $150 to $200, unless it's like a really beat up example. So our feature coin of the week is not damage at all. A lot of people will see that jagged line on the obverse of the coin and automatically assume, oh yeah, someone scraped the crap out of that thing. But if you take a look at that anomaly, you'll notice that the impression is clean all the way up to the edge of that anomaly. With a scratch, you're going to get the buildup of the metal collecting on each side of the scratch, where this one does not have that at all. So this is a strike-through error. There was something on the die prior to the strike of this one example here. Based off of the actual the size and shape of that strike-through, it's probably from a detached reading or a rim fin that had fallen off and landed on the dies, which happens. We see it quite a few times. I've found my fair share of these, but on a Kennedy half dollar, wow, that's impressive. And this thing is quite long and very, very pronounced. 1973D, by the way, in case you didn't see the date. Sold for $48.71 with 13 bids. Really, really good looking coin. You can find these on just about every type of denominations, probably less on Lincoln cents and Jefferson nickels, because those coins don't have reading on it. But dimes, we see them on quarters, half dollars, and some of the other dollar coins like Susan B's and Ike dollars as well. So not too bad of a sale right here. Very valuable. This might be our last piece of currency, and it sure is. We have a 1995 $1 bill with a little bit of a misaligned overprint there. You can see it's shifted to the right some to where there is some overlap of design details from the second print to the overprint. And by the way, the note is a little bit circulated, so it wasn't pulled out of a brand new bank strap at all. This one sold for $64.60. We got a few more coins here, ladies and gentlemen. How about another crown die chip? Again, 1 year ago, used to be all the rage. These things were, $100 to $150 solid every single sale of the large formed die chip that you see here above Washington's hat. Here's a little bit more of a better close-up of this. So, after a year of off and on sales, this particular example sold for $80.60. I think this coin still performing quite nice relative to its high mark from a year ago. So not bad. This one is showing a lot more better aging than the Tuskegee Airmen strike through at this point. And of course, bicentennial errors of any type and any denomination are always hot. Even one examples with a little bit of damage on there, like this one. This is also a Philadelphia minted coin. It's off center by about 10%. And this one did sell for $64.60 with 14 bids. Very nice amount of cash. Similarly, if this was a 1977 or a 1982 or something like that, it'd probably command about half the amount of money. But because it's the Drummer Boy quarter, it gains a lot more than that. And then finally, we're going to end it off on the final 1983 Lincoln on the list. And again, this is a really great variety. Probably a lot more scarcer than the DDR that we saw earlier in the show. And this one is actually quite attractive in terms of what it looks like. And especially on a mint state red coin. Wow. The doubling is just phenomenal on this. Strongest on the motto, "In God We Trust," and on the word liberty, like you see here. So, I mean, if you can't find this, then you're going to have real problems, entering the coin roll hunting game for sure. Make sure you guys have a suitable type of jeweler's loop. Anything 10 times power and up, please do master those, especially for all you young eyes out there that are hunting through your coins. Make sure you're looking out for dates such as this, where there's a lot of big potential in the variety market. This coin, by the way, phenomenal condition, nice minty red coin, sold for $113.91, and that's our final coin for this edition of the Pocket Change Market Report for December 10th, 2022. If you guys are looking to sell, do it now. Do not wait. Again, things will die off after about the 20th of the month. It might even be sooner than that. But there is still some market activity out there. Bids are pouring in daily for, those market acceptable pieces. But that's going to go ahead and wrap it up. I wish you guys luck in all your hunting endeavors. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, or love. Hit that follow button if you're going to check out my TikTok. I also have one of those as well. And that's going to go ahead and wrap it up. You guys go ahead and get your hunt on, and I will see you on the next coin video. Happy weekend.